What's up, everyone? My name is Abby. I like to read, and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of May. So I read a total of 14 books this month. I read 1 physical book, I read 6 audiobooks, and I read 7 books on my Kindle app on my phone. I did end up DNFing 1 book that was in my May TBR. I'll start with that one. That is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I didn't get very far at all. I think I maybe read 1 or 2 chapters. It was really slow and dense, and I didn't really like the writing style. I don't think I'm going to get rid of this book completely, but I'm definitely not in the mood to read it right now, so I am temporarily DNFing this book. The physical book that I read in May was A Thread of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is a reread for me. I loved it very much. I gave it 5 stars. I am very excited to continue rereading this series and tabbing and underlining all my favorite parts. Now I'll get into the audiobooks that I listened to this month. The first 2 books were from the same series. They were books 2 and 3 from the Witchwalker series by Teresa Weeks. The first book is called City of Ruin. I gave this book 3 stars. This series is kind of meh for me. I'm not really connecting as much as I would like to all the characters. There's not a whole lot of action in this book, and it was just kind of meh. I also didn't like the cliffhanger at the end of this book and kind of where this story is getting into. The end of the book made me just not excited for book 4. So book 3 in the Witchwalker series is The Wolf and the Witch. This book, while it is book 3, it is kind of a not necessarily kind of a standalone, but I don't know if their story is like done with. Basically, it follows different characters than the main series. So like the side characters in the book. I gave it 3 stars. I just am not connecting to the characters. I feel like the love story was really rushed, and it didn't give any like answers or anything to the previous book, so we're gonna have to wait for book 4 to figure out what happens to our main characters. The next 2 books I listened to were the 2 books in The Way I Used to Be duology, I think, by Amber Smith. The first book is The Way I Used to Be. I gave this book 5 stars. I haven't like felt this way about a book in a long time. It was really emotional and very impactful, and I really loved this book. The second book is called The Way I Am Now. This book was, again, 5 stars, very emotional. I did have to like stop listening to it for a day because it was just a lot. These books definitely have some like heavy content in them, but I picked it back up and I finished it probably within 48 hours after picking it back up. The book was a little bit open-ended, so there is a possibility that there could be another one. I really hope there is. I think this one just came out either this year or last year, but I'm really hoping there's another one because I really want to continue the story and kind of see what happens. It's a kind of ending where it's open-ended enough to where you kind of have a little bit of closure and you can kind of imagine how it ends, but there definitely could be another book. The next 2 books I listened to are the It Ends With Us duology by Colleen Hoover. I listened to this obviously because the movie is about to come out in August, and I've had it on my to read list for a while but just never picked it up. The first one is called It Ends With Us. I gave it 4 stars. It's, again, heavy content, and I don't like to criticize too much because this is a story based on someone's real life experience. So obviously that's what they went through. That's how they dealt with the situation. Would I have probably dealt with the situation in this book a little bit differently? I think I would, but yeah, it was still, I thought it was a good book still, very emotional. And the second book is It Starts With Us, and I gave this book once again 4 stars. I liked the book. I love the love story in this book, but again, I would have made a few different decisions in this book. Alright, now for the books that I read on my phone, on the Kindle app. The first 6 books are the entire Prey Security Alpha Team series. Book 1 is Deadly Risk. These are all by Julie Blythe. I gave this book 2 stars. I didn't really like it that much. Book 2 is Lethal Risk. I gave this book 3 stars, better than the first one, but the series is just kind of meh as a whole. Book 3 is called Extreme Risk, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. This book was probably my favorite of this particular series. Book 4 is called Fatal Risk, and I gave it 3 stars. Book 5 is Covert Risk, and I also gave it 3 stars. And then the last one is Savage Risk, book 6, and I gave this 2 stars. I also did not enjoy this one. And then the last book that I read in the month of May was Wings of Ink by Angelina J. Steffert. This is the first book in the Wings of Ink series. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good read. It was a little bit hard to get into the world building of this book and the different like fae types and how the humans were in like treated by the fae. It was a little bit confusing. The author did say that this book is kind of in the same universe as some of her other books. I have read her Shadow Kingdom series, and I did recognize some of the places that were mentioned in the book, but reading that series didn't really help me understand how the fae work in this whole universe. Maybe that is better explained in the next books. Maybe it's better explained in the other books in this universe that I haven't read, but that is kind of what gave me probably like take down a star, is that it was just a little bit confusing to understand the relationships between fae and human, the different types of fae and stuff like that, and the magic system as a whole. Another thing that was kind of for me is that the ending was very rushed and also very cliche, very, very, very cliche. But as a whole, I enjoyed the book. I am currently reading at this point in time the second book that just came out at the very end of May, and I am enjoying it so far. So you will hear more of my thoughts in my June wrap up. So that is it for the books that I read in the month of May. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what your favorite book was that you read in May. Subscribe if you want to see more content, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. I gave this book, I don't know what I gave it. Book 3 is called oh no. This takes place, well, I guess, no.